Okay. Just obviously to bring it to conclusion, the Kent game, really proud of our kids. Obviously had to fight through some adversity in the early part of the football game, and I thought our kids did a really good job of that. I thought we stayed the course throughout the game. Again, I would tell you that there's a lot of areas that we can continue to work on and improve on, and I think that was a sentiment on Sunday's meetings and after the film. But also I think some strong improvement from last week to this week, which is what you hope to see as a football coach this time of year. So, that kind of brings an end to the Kent game. Obviously, with Eastern Michigan coming in, I will tell you this, I think Chris Creighton's done a great job improving the roster of what this Eastern Michigan football team looked like from a year ago to what it looks like today. I think especially on the offensive side of the football right now, they're playing at a really confident and high rate. You can obviously see what they did against some quality defenses throughout the season so far. And then defensively, I think they've made vast improvement over the last 2 to 3 weeks. I think you see them really running to the football. They're very high energy, work really hard to create turnovers on the defensive side of the football. So we know we'll get a great test from them and expect a great challenge come Saturday. So with that said, I'll open up to you guys on questions.
A couple weeks ago, they went to LSU and they were giant underdogs.
Yeah.
I think they outperformed everybody's expectations. What did you see from them on that tape? And
Yeah.
was there anything that impressed you about it?
Yeah, I think their tape has looked very similar all year, which is impressive to me. They play really, really hard, and I think they've really bought into Coach Creighton. If you guys know his story a little bit, Division III football coach has kind of worked his way up and has done a phenomenal job at everywhere he's been of creating a culture and an environment, and I think that's what you're seeing taking place right now at Eastern. I think their kids really believe in him, obviously their staff. And again, he's done a really good job in just 1 year upgrading their roster. And I think what wasn't shocking is they were able to move the football consistently in those football games. And I think the thing that was really impressive is that's kind of where their defense has started to really come into its own, is, created 3 turnovers in that game and really did some really positive things. So I think that, again, you're seeing a team that's really growing and getting better each and every week. And again, we'll get their best shot come Saturday.
Brogan's obviously a guy that you've seen a lot of.
Sure.
Has he improved since you've seen him last, and what did he look like in the last couple games you've seen?
Yeah, number one, confident, and I think again a lot of that confidence comes with some of the people around him that they've been pieces that they've been able to add around him to be able to showcase what his talent is. Obviously, Brogan's a really talented football player, can make all the throws, has got the athleticism to get out of the pocket at times and make things difficult for you in those ways. So I think he's really kind of each week gotten better, and I think he's really understanding what's around him and has got great confidence right now as he comes into this football game.
Is it positive to know that you're undefeated, but yet you guys haven't seen a process, haven't reached your full potential, to know that there's more out there to improve on?
Yeah, and I think the amount that there's out there to improve on. It's not I think it's certainly positive. You want to win rather than lose. That's what this is all about in terms of what the result looks like at the end of the day. But I think what's really impressive of my mind is our kids' reaction, in my honest opinion. I think our kids know that we're just scratching the surface of what we can be and become on both sides of the ball, as well as in our special teams game. And I think our kids want to get better. They're really straining, what can we do better? What do I need to do to better myself, as well as better each side of the football? So I think that's meant more to me than anything going through this process so far.
Chris pointed out this morning, you went through your 2 week and kind of read off how many juniors and seniors are maybe on your defense. When you're building a program in the first few years, what's really the challenge of the?
Well, I think the biggest thing is on both sides of the ball, and we're just talking defense, is identify, number one, what you want those positions to look like. And I think that's what we've worked really, really hard here, more than anything in the recruiting process, is, okay, these are what defensive ends are going to look like. These are what interior defensive tackles are going to look like. These are what linebackers need to do for us. What are those traits? Let's identify them, and then let's go out and try to recruit to that. And I think that's one thing, when I was the offensive coordinator, I felt like we were able to do a really good job of here offensively. Left tackles look like this. They got to have these skill sets. Quarterbacks in our system, they got to do this. And I think now hopefully when I was able to take over the head coaching job, take that same system, apply it to what we wanted it to be on defense. And I think that's helped us. And again, you know, it's only going to help you if you recruit the right kids and they're bought into becoming the best they can be and got great coaches that develop them. And I think that's the one thing we're really fortunate. You got guys like Eli Rashid, DK McDonald, you know, and now with the addition of what we've gotten with John Haycock and Tyson Veit on that side of the ball, they're great teachers as well as they are really good schematic football coaches. And I've always said this, coaching is teaching, and you have to be able to be a great teacher, and I think that they've done a great job as well developing those young players.
It's one thing as a coach to say that everybody's taking it one game at a time, all of those things. Has it been easier or harder, you think, to get the kids to buy into that?
Well, I think it's been easier from our standpoint because we've been down this road before. You know, we've been ranked, even though maybe not all those guys were a part of that process. We've had some really good highs, but unfortunately we've had some tough lows, you know, and we've had to deal with that. And, you know, I think last year taught us a lot of great lessons, and whether they were positive or negative, we really learned a lot and grew as a program a lot last year. You know, we had some devastating things happen and some really some unopportune times, but we never flinched. We never lost our focus. We just kept pushing, and a lot of that is a credit to last year's senior class. There were some great leaders, some guys that were able to teach, I think all of us, coaches, players, what it's like to go through adversity. And then you grab this group, and you talk about so many guys in our senior class, Phillip Ely and you know, Cheatham, and all these guys who personally have gone through some real personal struggles, that you're just really grateful to be out on the football field on a day in and day out basis. I think it really brings this process, what I've talked about and tried to bring in, it kind of brings it all together. So I think, you know, this group has really done a great job leading each other and demanding of each other to come one day at a time, enjoy the opportunity to play football, but come with a purpose to get better each and every day. And I think this group so far has done a really good job of that.
How do you stay focused? I mean, I know you want to respect the opponents, but in years past, historically, this team has been natural. How do you stay focused on?
Well, I think you turn the video on, you know, and that's the biggest thing I tell you. And again, you know, you turn the video on, you watch what their players are playing like right now, you watch the energy and the attitude and the effort, and that's, to me, that's better than anything that you can talk about matchups in a game, is what's the buy-in value of the team that you're about to play. And you turn their videotape on, and again, that's coaching. You know, obviously Coach Creighton and what they got going on is obviously something special right now. Their kids are playing at a really high rate, they believe. And, you know, why wouldn't they believe that they can come in here and play? You know, 2 years ago up there, you know, they almost beat us up there. So I think that a lot of kids that have played in those games really understand that and know that. And I think they believe they can win. It's Division I football. Any given Saturday, anybody can beat anybody, and we know that.
Roland came here obviously as a safety. You've been getting him on the field as a nickel. Why did you make that transition?
Well, a couple things. Number one, I think from Roland's perspective, if you look at Roland's history, he's played all over the place, corner, safety, you know, even last year at UAB, you know, was down in the box kind of playing this similar nickel position at times and sometimes inside the box, you know, in the Mike and Will spot. And I think what Roland brings to the table that we felt early on is pound for pound, strongest kid on our football team. And, you know, I think that lends to him playing close to the football, get off blocks, be able to make plays at the point of attack. And then number two is your best players, you guys that are showing in practice and in games that they're playing at a really high rate. It's your job as the coach to find the role for that guy and to get him on the football field. And obviously Chaz has played well, DeJuan's playing well, and Roland had played really well for us. And, you know, I think we had the conversation after, you know, the Arkansas game, hey, you know, what are we going to do? How do we continue to find ways to get our best players on the field at the same time together? And that certainly doesn't discredit anybody else. It certainly just adds to the point of what Roland's doing. And sometimes I tell young guys all the time, if you want to play, sometimes you got to make us play you. And I think he's done a really good job of that.
The targeting rule, do you think it's difficult for kids to, in the moment, to be able to avoid it? And do you think it's tough for the officials to enforce it?
Well, I don't think it's tough for the officials to enforce it. I think they're doing a really good job of that, you know, and obviously that's something that they've, you know, they're getting coached in the off season to do. And, you know, I think the hardest part of it is it's such a bang play that, you know, in some situations that's really tough. And, you know, I think you have to do as the coach a great job of teaching tackling, teaching those bang situations on where to place your head, where to put yourself in the situation, not only from a protection standpoint for the player, but obviously from a standpoint of we don't want the 15-yard personal foul, and we don't want to put ourselves in that position where we hurt our team. But, you know, again, to me, there's some different types of penalties in football, and that's an aggressive penalty, and sometimes that's due to lack of, you know, discipline, but also sometimes that's the situation that occurred and a kid can't help himself.
So you teach tackling, is that a generational thing? High school players coming in that maybe don't have that fundamental base of tackling?
You know, I think even at the high school level, you know, we're talking concussions are such a big talk in the world today of football, and whether that's pee-wee football or high school football or college football, I think we're so much better educated today on the correct way to tackle, the way to keep our head out of the game at all levels. And I think kids are coming in with a better understanding of that. And I think high school coaches do a great job. And, you know, even down to the pee-wee level, I think it's really critical that gets taught. And I think they are being taught that. So, you know, I think it's just our job to continue to reemphasize that. And the game just gets played so much faster at our level that we got to continue to do a really good job of helping those young men out.
What's impressed you the most out of this defense in the last couple of weeks? They've only given up one touchdown, and I know you always say they can still improve from
Yeah.
that, but how fun has that been to watch?
Well, I think it's been really fun in terms of watching their love to go out and compete. What do I love about our defense? I love that it's a group of guys that they want to go out and they want to be on the field and they want to make a difference in the football game. And, you know, playing defense, being a part of good defenses, you always remember, man, you didn't want to be on the sideline. You wanted to be out there making a play, you know, and I think this group embodies that, you know, guys like Voss and Cheatham and those kind of guys. I mean, they love to play football. They'd much rather be out on the field playing defense than they would be on the sideline. And I think that's when you start to create a culture of guys that want to go out, they want to play, they want to make a difference. And that's been huge for me. So it's been fun to watch those guys. Can they improve? Yeah. You know, I wouldn't say we were as sharp as we possibly could have been this past Saturday. I think our kids know that, and we got to go back to work. We got a lot of work to do, but I think they want to do that too, and they want to continue to get better, and I appreciate that as well.
Kind of a follow-up to the next question of the penalties. You know, obviously 9 Saturday, we just see them build, you know, I guess it's always improvement.
Yeah, again, here's where I thought we improved from 2 weeks ago to this week in terms of penalties. You know, we had some what I would say are stupid penalties. You know, guys that are undisciplined penalties, jumping off sides, you know, not being smart. Those are penalties that you can control. You know, I thought a lot more of the penalty situation this past week, they're aggressive plays. And, you know, again, we have to continue to do a great job of educating our young men and continuing to demand of our young men on those not intelligent penalties to do a better job, whether that's technique, whether that's how you block, whatever that may be. But from an aggressive standpoint, we're not going to change that. We're going to continue to be aggressive, and we're going to continue to be physical, and we're going to do it the right way within the rules. And then, obviously, you know, we'll leave it up to the officiating to make the best call for them.
Yeah, I thought we did a great job Saturday, you know, running and catching the ball. Guys were in the right spots at the right time, and it was kind of good to see that from the, you know, quarterback's standpoint.
Does the field change when Kareem's there?
You know, he definitely adds a great element to the game, but, you know, with the guys that we've had so far, you know, there's not a huge drop-off. You know, everyone's really been stepping up. You know, Damian Jones-Moore, Terry Swanson, Mark Remy, I mean, all those guys have been playing great football. So, you know, props to them. Well, I've always had to run for my life. But not being sacked, I mean, that's just a credit to the O-line. Really working hard, like I've said in past weeks. But, you know, a credit also to this offense of moving fast, getting our guys in the right spots to where we can get the football out quick.
I asked Matt, what is it like to be part of a team that is actually taking things one game at a time? Because a lot of people say it and can't do it. What is that mindset like? How do you guys do that?
Well, I think from an offensive standpoint, you know, we are getting closer. We haven't played our best football. You know, like I said, we ran and we caught the ball well. You know, offense did a great job, or offensive line did a great job, but we didn't do too well on third downs, and we got to stay on the field, you know, if we want to score points. So, you know, going back to the drawing board and and really, I mean, that's, you know, nitpicking stuff, but, you know, that's going to win us football games in the future. So, you know, I'm pleased with how we played, but we can play better.
The way you said the game that you ran a little bit, is that, are you a mobile, you do a little bit of mobile quarterback?
I guess you know, when it comes to the point, you know, everything, all my limbs got to be working at the same time. So, you know, that, you know, just a year ago having to run, you know, I don't want to change the quarterback that I am. I, you know, did this kind of stuff in high school, so it's just all instinct, I guess.
When you are running, you can go free, you can go there, you can go far from the game. Do you see front seven getting worn down?
You know, it's hard. You know, these guys are coming in fresh, you know, one after another. So, you know, guys are starting to load the box up. So we got to do a good job of getting the ball to the perimeter and getting the ball to our, you know, our fast skill guys. So, but, you know, these guys are working hard and it shows on the field.
Yeah, I mean, we take pride as a defense in general, and I mean, one thing we also don't have is love for one each other. Like normally, sometimes there's offenses separating from defenses, and we really get along as a whole team. So, you know, we're really out there as a defense just trying to get our ball back to our guys, and when they're out there, they're trying to score, and if they can have the ball the whole game, that's what we want.
Is it a main goal to get them shut out? I mean, I know that that's kind of been robbed, but overall, as a goal of defense, are you now focusing on trying to shut out everything?
Yeah, I mean, as Coach Campbell always says, you know, the one game at a time, that's not just, you know, with that. That goes for everything. We play one play at a time, too. And really, we're just trying to stop them. Any gain of yards at any play is not what we're trying to accomplish. So if we can go out pitch shutouts, you know, 0 yards rushing, 0 yards passing, we would. But, you know, football doesn't work that easily.
Continuing back play at home this week against Eastern Michigan. I know school wasn't like this coming here again.
Oh, it's a great environment. You know, as a team, we love playing here. It's a great city. We got great support behind us, and you know, it's just going to be exciting to keep filling up the glass bowl and seeing all these guys come out proud to be, you know, Toledo Rockets.
You know, so on Sundays, are you guys waiting for the rankings to come out and see where you're at? Honestly.
I mean, I don't really know. I'm not too concerned about it. You know, I'm sure a lot of guys love seeing that, but you know, we're more worried about watching our film and correcting the mistakes we made in the last game. It's a great, you know, honor, but you know, I couldn't have done it without my guys. You know, it's easy to make plays when you got guys like Trayvon Hester and Orion Jones and Alan Covington all right next to you. You know, those 5 linemen, 5'6" linemen have a lot to worry about more than just me.
I know, obviously you're undefeated, but is this an important 2-game stretch right now? This is your last time back-to-back home game. It's obviously not professional field.
Yeah.
I mean, you got a nice, I don't want to say cushion, but nice to be at home. You know, having back-to-back.
Yeah, absolutely. But you know, we're trying to win every single game. Coming back to the home though, we definitely losing in front of our home crowd would be something that we never would imagine happening. But yeah, definitely it's special playing here. So it's great to get in here as much as possible, and you know, back home games is something fun, and we're gonna, you know, hopefully take advantage of it.
Of course, full eligibility is also important too with that.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, going to a bowl game as well as a MAC championship, those are all goals of ours. So
What's the more important goal?
MAC championship, without a doubt. You know, bowl games are fun; those are exciting to get to. But you know, at the end of the day, we have 105 guys in here. We all write goals. The start of the season, every single guy at MAC championship.
Is it nice to knock out one of those goals sooner rather than later?
Yeah, you know, getting some of those goals, you know, winning on the road, all our games on the road, winning all at home, you know, things like that are all important to us.